Listen, I will tell you a story not found in most official histories, a quiet story that whispers underneath the loud declarations of councils. Kings. It is a story about souls and about power, and about the deep, persistent questions that human beings have always asked in the quiet of their own hearts. Do we live only this one time? Do we walk this earth just once, making our choices before a final judgment? Or does the soul, like a traveler on a long road, return again and again in different bodies, learning new lessons with each life? Many people have asked this question, some with a profound and stirring hope, and others with a quiet, lingering fear. The world of belief was like a vast and varied landscape, filled with many different paths and streams of thought. Some early thinkers, inspired by philosophies from Greece and the East, believed that the soul was ancient and that it moved through many lives on its journey back to God. This idea was not seen as strange or heretical by everyone. It was simply one way of understanding the great mystery of existence. But as time passed, one particular path began to grow wider and more defined than all the others. This path taught that there is one life, one death, and then one final turning point, one judgment. This is the way that most Christians know now. But how did this single path become the main road? Who were the architects and the gatekeepers who helped to shape this powerful doctrine? Here our story turns to a remarkable figure, a woman who rose from the dust of the city to the highest seat of power. Her name was Theodora. Yes. Imagine a heavy, ancient wooden door, slightly ajar, with light streaming through the crack. Who was this woman, Theodora, who stands at the center of our story? She was not born to royalty. Her beginnings were humble, even scandalous. Her father was a bear-keeper for the Hippodrome in Constantinople. The Hippodrome was the city's grand arena for chariot races and public spectacles. After his early death, Theodora and her sisters were cast into the precarious world of the stage, a world of performers, dancers, courtesans. She learned to survive using her wits and her beauty. She navigated the city's darkest alleys and its most powerful chambers. Her past was a story that many in the court whispered about. It defied the rigid social order of her time. From these difficult beginnings, Theodora rose with astonishing determination. She captured the heart of Justinian, the heir to the imperial throne, and he was so captivated that he changed the law so he could marry her. People in positions of great power often act as gardeners of ideas, carefully tending to the beliefs they believe will strengthen their rule and uprooting the ones they see as weeds. Theodora and her husband Justinian faced the monumental task of governing a vast and often chaotic empire. They believed that a strong, unified state required a strong, unified religion, a single set of beliefs that everyone could follow. A shared faith acts like mortar, binding the bricks of a diverse population together, creating a sense of common purpose and allegiance to the crown. A single clear doctrine could bring order, simplify law, reinforce the divine authority of the emperor and empress themselves. The idea of reincarnation, or the pre-existence of the soul, could be seen as a threat to this kind of rigid unity. It is an idea that can make a single lifetime seem less urgent, less final. If the soul has many chances, many turns on the wheel of life, some rulers might fear subjects becoming less obedient to earthly laws. The great doctrines of the church were often forged in the heat of debate, in closed rooms where powerful men in ornate robes gathered to argue over words and ideas. These men, bishops, theologians, patriarchs, would read ancient texts, debate the writings of saints and thinkers, and seek to define the one true faith. One such thinker whose ideas came under scrutiny was Origen of Alexandria. Origen had explored many complex ideas, including the possibility that souls existed before their physical birth and that all beings, even the devil, would eventually be restored to God. Some of his writings were beloved, while others made later church leaders deeply uncomfortable. In the year 553, Emperor Justinian convened a major meeting in the imperial city. But what of the Bible itself? Does the sacred text offer any support for the idea that we might live more than once? Those who believe in reincarnation often point to small, intriguing passages that seem to open a door to this possibility. They are like faint echoes in a great hall, suggesting a story that was later silenced. One of the most frequently cited examples involves John the Baptist. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus says of John, "And if you are willing to accept it, he is the Elijah who was to come." Supporters of reincarnation see this as a clear statement. The soul or spirit of the great prophet Elijah had returned to the world in the body of John the Baptist. Another passage that sparks curiosity is found in the Gospel of John, where the disciples encounter a man who was born blind. They ask Jesus a question that seems to presuppose a life before this one. "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" The question implies that it might have been possible for the man himself to have sinned before his birth. So how did we arrive here? In a world where the vast majority of Christian denominations firmly reject the idea of reincarnation? The answer is not a single event, but a long and complex process, like a river carving its path through a landscape over centuries. It is the cumulative work of time, the deliberate choices of powerful leaders, the slow crystallization of doctrine. The early church was a place of vibrant and diverse thought, but as it grew into a powerful institution, there was an increasing desire for clarity, uniformity, a single authoritative answer to life's biggest questions. A faith with too many interpretations was seen as weak and vulnerable to division. The choices made by leaders, both religious and political, played a decisive role. History is never just a collection of dusty books and forgotten laws. It is a living story, shaped by the hands of people on the levers of power, a leader's ambition, an empress's fear, a city's desperate need for peace and order. We see that church doctrine did not descend from heaven fully formed. It grew out of rooms where people were proud and tired and hopeful and afraid. It came from the world of politics just as much as it came from the world of prayer. To understand why one belief flourished while another one faded, we must be fair to all the different forces at play, acknowledging the complex mix of human motives. And so we can hold this story with a gentle respect for all its different views. I will leave you with a small, quiet picture to hold in your mind. Imagine a single candle burning in a vast, dark room. Its light is beautiful and precious. Some will say that this candle represents one life. It burns brightly for its allotted time, and when it is extinguished, its journey is complete. Others will say that just before the flame goes out, its fire leaps across the darkness to light a new candle, another. In this picture, the light itself is eternal, even as the candles are consumed. Both of these images teach us something vital. Both of them ask us to cherish the light with all our hearts while it is burning before us. Be gentle with these old, powerful stories. Be curious about the ways that power and belief have always intertwined. Read the ancient books for yourself, listen to the songs of the mystics, and pay attention to the rulings of the councils. Remember that people long ago, including a formidable empress who rose from nothing, made choices for a multitude of reasons. Reasons of faith, reasons of fear, reasons of love, reasons of rule. In the end, whether we believe in one life or in many, we are left with the undeniable truth of this present moment. We have this breath. We have these hands to help another. Perhaps that simple, profound truth is the sacred light that all traditions, in their own way, have always sought to protect. Picture a collection of ornate, expressionless theatrical masks lying on a dark velvet cloth. She became an empress, a co-ruler of the Byzantine Empire. Power and piety walked hand in hand. The book was effectively closed.